Okay guys, this is going to be our second video with David
and Noah,
and we're going to learn about hydrates. So we already did our acid, so we're going to start with our hydrates now. But let's remember, it's not the drug acid. Okay, we were teaching about the chemical acid. So now that we got all the acid groups, since these two are pretty similar topics, we're going to start with hydrates.
Okay, so a hydrate is an ionic compound that has water molecules attached to it. And so that would be a hydrate. And an anhydrate is a hydrate without water.
So the naming is pretty simple. You have your ion, for instance, let's take, for example, copper. So you have your ionic compound. Let's say, for example, you have copper nitrate, and you have your, copper nitrate, okay, or copper 2 nitrate, and what you do is that you take that into, let's say it has, for example, 2 waters, okay. So if you have 2 waters, then it's dihydrate. And let's say you have 5 waters, it's pentahydrate. So there's a list of what you add as the prefix for the hydrate. So you have your ionic, you have right here, you have your ionic compound, and then you have your hydrate, and then you have right here is the prefix. So the way the prefixes start is that you have 1, which is mono, 2, di, 3, tri, 4, tetra, 5, penta, 6, hexa, 7, hepta, 8, octa, 9, nona, and 10, deca. So these are the 1 through 10 is probably the most ones you probably use. And so you go, monohydrate, dihydrate, trihydrate, tetrahydrate, and so on.
Just get iMovie on an iPad.
So here's just a question about hydrates. A hydrate of magnesium sulfate has a mass of...
It's just from my pants.
So a hydrate of magnesium sulfate has a mass of 13.52 grams. This sample is heated until no water remains. The magnesium sulfate anhydrate has a mass of 6.6 grams. Find the formula and name of the hydrate.
So your goal here, okay, is to find the amount of waters. So if we know that the mass of water is 18 AMUs, okay, we can set this into our equation when we find the percent of the water. So if we know that the hydrate of magnesium has a mass of 13.52, so, and then we know that the anhydrate without the water is 6.6 grams. So if we subtract 13.52 minus 6.60, we will get the mass of the water, which is 6.92. So now, as we define a percent, we have to do part over whole. So as you can see here, we have our part over our whole to give us our percent. And when we did this, we got 0.511, which is 51.1%. So we have our percent, 51.1%, and now we defined in AMUs, part over whole. So we have 18 AMUs, which is water, the amount of mass of water, times the X amount of waters we have, over, we have the mass of magnesium sulfate, so we define the AMUs of magnesium, sulfur, and oxygen, and magnesium has a mass of... So the mass of magnesium is 24 AMU. AMUs. And the mass of sulfur is 32 AMUs. And oxygen is 16 times 4, since we have 4 of them, which is 64 AMUs.
So since earlier we did part over whole to get this 51.1%, right now we have to do part over whole, and the whole would be 120 plus 18x. These are all AMUs.
The 120 is all of the magnesium, sulfur, and oxygen added up.
Yep. So now we
Need to multiply each side by the denominator. So multiply this side by 120 plus 18x, and this side by 120 and 18x. So get to a new sheet. We have 120 plus 18x parentheses 0.511 equals 18x. Whoops, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be 0.511 parentheses 120 plus 18x. And when we distribute, we should get 61.32 plus 9.198x equals 18x.
And now we have to get the x, both x's on one side. So we subtract 9.198x to both sides. It's to get 61.32 equals, and this gives us 8.802. So 8.802x. Now to get x alone, we divide both sides by 8.802, which should give us 6.966, which equals x. And since there's small decimals that we had to do at the beginning that we rounded, we just round this to the nearest tenth, which would be about 7. So that would be 7 hydrates.
So that means that the naming for this would be magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. So that's heptahydrate. And then writing it out would be magnesium sulfate times 7H2O. And there you go. That's your answer.
And that's it.
And that wraps up hydrates. Thank you for tuning in. Stay classy, San Diego.